Hey everybody, Mark Yagi. You want to play a game? Let's play a little game. I used to play this game a long time ago, and it helps you really hone your chart reading skills. And I just got it on the screen. Let's take a look at the screen here. I'm not going to tell you what stock it is. Maybe I will, but the bottom line is a really good quality stock with increasing earnings and good fundamentals, and it's a stock that and you're going to like their product and all that kind of stuff. So you just kind of have to. We're focusing in on chart reading here, okay? And let's play a little game, and you get some prizes. I'll give you lots of points. How about that? I'll give you tons of free points if you win. If you don't win, I'll take the points away from you. How about that? But the idea is that I'm just going to play the game, and all we're going to do is try to figure out if the stock is going up, down, or sideways, and whether you're in the stock long, you're short the stock, or if you're in cash, okay? So we're going to just get a piece of paper out and a pen, and you're going to write down two columns, basically, okay? You don't need to even know the dates or anything. You're going to write down L for long, C for cash, or S for short. Long, cash, or short. If you're long, that means you buy the stock. And if it goes up the next week, because this is a weekly chart we're looking at, if it goes up the next week, you get a point, right? Or you give yourself a check mark. If it goes down, you put a minus sign next to it if you were long. Now, if you're short and the stock goes down, in other words, you want the stock to go down, the next week when I reveal that, if it goes red, then you give yourself a check mark. If it goes up, you were wrong, so you give yourself a minus sign, right? And if you're in cash, you don't either get a check mark or a minus sign because you weren't in the stock to begin with. You were taking the risk off the table. Now, what you're looking at is my typical weekly chart. These are charts from Market Surge, Investors Business Daily. They're really cool charts, and they let me advance by a week. But we're going to play the game out of it, right? And so here's the way the game is played. Up here is the stochastics. I put it up there because a lot of people like to use stochastics. So stochastics, the way you read it, if it's over 80, that means it's overbought. And if it's under 20, it's oversold, which means it may reverse. That's what a lot of people believe. I don't even want you to use that, or I don't use that. You can use it if you want. I put it as a tool. The S&P 500 is this little line up here. It's a little hard to read week by week, but there it is. And then this is the 200-day moving average, or on a weekly chart, it's the 40-day moving average, 40-week moving average. And the red line is the 10-week moving average, or the 50-day moving average if you're using, they're kind of the same if you're using dailies. All right. Down below, this red line here is the 50-day moving average of the weekly volume, okay? So the 10-week moving average of the volume. And so you should be using price and volume to decide, is the stock going to go up, down, or should I be in cash? Because I don't know. Whatever. The idea, everybody, is to catch the trend. Okay? So you can see right here, there's a little trend here. It looks like about a 10, 12-week trend. There's a sideways trend here. There's a little down 5-week trend here. The idea is that you can catch those trends, because if you catch this trend here at 260 and you ride it up here to 400 or almost 400, that's a pretty good gain, right? And so the idea is that we want stocks in an uptrend. You can obviously look at this stock and say it's definitely in an uptrend if you look long-term enough. But I want you to try to figure out where those trends start and see if you can ride it for all it's worth, and then get out before things turn bad, or the other way around. If things are shortened, if things are going down, you want to be short, and there's a trend on the short side, and get out before things turn bad for you and start going back up. All right, you get it? So you're going to write down long, short, or cash, L, S, or C, long, short, or cash. And then if you got long and the next bar that I reveal for the week is blue, give yourself a check mark. If it's red, give yourself a minus sign because you were wrong that week, okay? And then immediately, right after you make that result, what's it going to be? Look at the chart, and then for next week, what's it going to be? Am I long, short, or cash? You got it? So let's play this game. I'll start out real slow, and then I'll start speeding up real quick, okay? And then we'll stop every so often just to kind of take inventory. All right. So write down your first one, long, short, or cash, okay? I'm going to write down short. To me, it looks like it might be a little toppy, so I'm going to write down short. I'll play it with you here for the bit, okay? And I've just advanced it, and you see it popped up, and now it's got a red candle, so I was right. So next to where I wrote S, I put a check mark, right? And now I decide next week, is it long, short, or cash? Well, it bounced off to 50, but I'm going to stay short, so I'm writing down an S. and I'm going to advance for the week. You do whatever one you want, right? Long, short, or cash. Hey, I was right again. So I'm going to give myself a check mark again. Cool. And now I'm going to say, well, I still think it's on a trend to go short, so I'm going to stay short. So I write S for the next week. Ready? Do it for yourself. Here we go. Revealing it. Okay, I was wrong. So I put a minus sign there. Okay? Now, write down for next week for you, long, short, or cash. Ready? Here we go. Now, if you wrote short, you get a check mark. If you wrote long, you get a minus sign. If you were in cash, you don't either get a long or a short or a check mark or a minus sign. You get nothing, right? You were just safe for the week. That's all it means. Ready? Next week, long, short, or cash. Ready? Here we go. All right. There's the result. Long, short, or cash. That trend's turning around or not. Here we go. It's red. All right. Next week, long, short, or cash. Give yourself a result here. Oh, it went down. So if you were short, give yourself a check mark or a plus. Okay, is it still going to go down? I would say yes. I'm going to put a short for me. I don't know what you're going to put for you. Here we go. And it went down. So give yourself a check mark if you were short. Give yourself nothing if you were in cash. Give yourself a minus if you were long. You getting the hang of this? All right, I'm going to start going a little faster so I don't bore you. All right, ready? Long, short, or cash? Go. Here we go. Woo, big candle. Long, short, or cash? Long, short, or cash? There's the result. Make sure you're writing down your result, either a check mark or a minus sign or nothing if you're in cash. Get ready for the next week. Long, short, or cash? All right, ready? Long, short, or cash? Result? 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 Ready? Long, short, or cash? All right, write down your result. Now I want you to go for the last, I don't remember how many weeks it is now, but it looks like about maybe 12 weeks. And you're going to write down, just kind of tally up how many check marks you have, how many minus signs you have, okay? Each check mark is going to be worth 1%. Each minus sign is going to be worth 1%, so you can net those out. Let's say you've got 8 check marks and you were right? You were right 8 times, so you got 8 check marks, and you were wrong 3 times. Well, you're going to net out 5. That means you made 5% over that period of time. That means you're doing a pretty decent job reading charts, okay? Now, you can look at how severe the chart is on these weeklies, right? And you can decide, boy, you would have made a lot more money than 1%. But anyway, we're playing a little game, and you're just giving yourself a point system, okay? You can modify this later if you want. All right, let's keep going. Ready? Long, short, or cash? All right, result? Long, short, or cash? Result? Long, short, or cash? Result? Long, short, or cash? Result? Woo! Long, short, or cash? Result? 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 Long, short, or cash? Okay, by this time you kind of get the idea. And what I would recommend to you is that if you have a charting system, if you can use any charting system, just go back over time. You can even use a piece of paper and cover up the right side of the chart and reveal 1 week at a time. The idea is that the more you look at charts and the more you try to predict based on maybe the 50-day moving average or the volume, the price. There's a lot of stuff that you can use to predict, and that's what the market makers are doing every single day. They're using a lot of things on the screen to predict whether the stock's going long, short, or cash, right? Whether their position is going to be, properly positioned based on the charts. And you can read the charts, right? We are small investors. We are against the big investors, but the big investors are like the elephant walking around, right? The elephant's walking around in a muddy pen. And when the elephant makes a step, they leave a footprint. And these chart bars are all footprints. And so we can watch what the big elephants are doing because we're the little mouse running around and nobody cares what we're doing, but we can read what the elephant's doing. They're leaving these footprints. In this case, the footprint was pretty heavy to the downside. So I hope you understood how to catch the short on that and ride it all the way to the downside. One thing that you could do if you want to play the game going forward, maybe I'll make another video like this. If you like this, please comment below so that I can make more. This is kind of an experimental thing. Is you see this death cross here, right? Where the 50-day moving average or the 10-week is crossing over the 40-week on the downside. Like if you'd have just done that, right? In this particular chart, you would have gone from like 450 all the way down to like 180, right? You would have made $300 on the drop, right? And if you look earlier, if you'd have bought it here at 550, you'd have ridden it up to 650, for example. The idea is that you learn to recognize trends. We like trends to go from lower left to upper right, but sometimes they don't. And sometimes, here's the lesson, guys. If there's an opportunity to take your loss and keep it small before it gets bigger, like all these people were thinking, oh, it's going to bounce, and they kept buying it, or they averaged down, or they were doing all these crazy things, and they were buying it all the way down because they loved it at 600, and they were going, well, it's going to bounce. They got hammered, didn't they? Maybe you were one of those. Maybe there's a lesson in here for you. So now you can go ahead and tally up all your check marks, all your minus signs, and you could just give yourself a percentage for the net. So if you guessed right 20 times and you were wrong 8 times, congratulations, you made 12% over this period of time. Now, if you were really right, you could magnify that or multiply it later on. But the idea is just to try to get yourself to be right more than you're wrong, and then you start to get an understanding of how to read charts. I hope you like this little game. It's a little fun thing that I do. It helps you learn to understand and read charts and decipher what's going on. And then when you start to combine price and volume together, and I'm not going to do that on this video, but later on I might do it if you guys like it and you want me to. Please comment below if you do. Otherwise, if you want me to kill this idea, I can do that too. But I think this is really cool. By the way, this stock was Netflix, and this was during the 2021 period where we basically started at the end of 2021, so it wasn't COVID. And then this stock dropped a lot, right? It dropped heavily, and it took a long time for it to come back up. So there's a lesson in that too. Anyway, hope you liked it, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care. Bye.